My name is Sarah, or as my sisters call me, Sarita, and I'm here with Christine and Teddy and Sarah. And we're here from the School of Ascension, a school that we all study online and also get together in person, doing ceremony and doing spiritual work. And online, we're at www.magdalas.com. But we're here today to just talk about what the spiritual work means for us, especially during this time where we're really being asked to go within, which is, for me, a big part of what the spiritual work has been. Before I even really understood what spiritual work was, I was spending much of my life looking at the outside world to validate me or looking at the outside world for understanding of who I am. And through the spiritual work, I really feel it has helped me to connect to myself, not through the outside world, but through discovering the essence of who I am and exploring different opportunities with my sisters to really go deeper in exercises and in conversations and in sharings with each other as we go through this exploration together. So I would love to also hear from Teddy and Christine and Sarah what the spiritual work means to them.
Yeah,
Teddy, you want to start
yeah,
for us?
I will. So one of the things I think I feel about this is having having a knowledge of something is one thing, and but actually practicing it is a totally other thing. And so the through the school, and it's been several years, probably 6 years, and the place I was at probably was very, I felt like I did have a lot of awareness spiritually, but I was not putting any of it really into practice. And so through the school and the sisterhood, I mean, it has just blown me away how different I am and how the the outside is only part of, from the inside. Um, but just the ability to bring this work and the this it's not just a knowledge, but to actually do it. And with these women, I mean, it's really amazing. There's no competition. There's no, you know, fighting. Like, it is such a weird thing. It's like a whole new way of relating.
Thank you, Teddy.
Yeah, I'm going to start off too with what Teddy was saying and Sarita. Um, the culture I was raised in was all about the outside world, like Sarita said. And, I gave my power away all of the time, and I never felt valued. The more I gave away, the less good I felt about myself. So I've been in this school of Ascension for a long time, but I've also been in the past, present, future lessons, which has really been a huge focus for all of us, that we honed in on really the essence of finding out who we really are and that we are creators. So from within, we create everything in our reality, in our world. So the thoughts you have, the biases you might have, the projections you have, all create what you experience in your world. And those are the really profound lessons I've learned about that. How about you, Sarah?
Yeah, I've been in the school the shortest of everyone here. I've been in it for about a year and a half, and the amount of transformation that I've experienced since becoming part of the sisterhood has been incredible. It's really been about finding my true self and kind of just like letting go of this falsehood and these ideas of who I thought I was that just weren't true. So it's for me, it's really been about like finding myself and coming home to myself, but finding coming home to sisterhood too. And kind of like Teddy was saying, it's an idea of sisterhood it's so beautiful and precious, and it's what sisterhood is meant to be, I think, but it's very rare and hard to find in the culture, at least that I was raised in. And I guess really understanding that the work that we do together, one of the things that we work on is understanding that the only person you need to reach is yourself. And doing that personal spiritual work, it's it's so transformative, but then also what you're doing for yourself affects the whole as well. So, just all these ideas of all the knowledge of the feminine that for so long I was on my spiritual path. It was like I wasn't nothing quite clicked for me, and coming here to the school, it was really just finally tapping into the knowledge of the feminine and the knowledge of the sisterhood that completely made so much more sense of what the work is really about. And it's truly transformed my life, and yeah, it's been incredible.
Mhm.
Yeah, I love that we're talking about the sisterhood, and I think it's important because I know we're all talking about how great the sisterhood is, and it really truly is. And also for me, I had to do a lot of work with how I perceived the feminine and who I was as a woman in order to actually understand the sisterhood. So that is part of the spiritual work for me. Spiritual work isn't necessarily easy and sunshine and rainbows all the time. It really is excavating some deep programs that my family has taught me, that my culture has taught me, that the external world has taught me, or a government or a society, and looking at those and seeing, what really is not for the highest good and what has really kept me sort of trapped. And in that sisterhood, it's something that I love about the space that's been created in our school and in our ceremonies and in studying together is any time that something has come up between me and another woman, if I'm feeling competition, if I'm feeling jealousy or envy, if I am feeling some sort of insecurity, then I'm put to work with that sister, and we make the dance together, and we make the dance of the Eeks Papalotli, or the butterfly, two sisters working together, and we will make that work, whatever it is, if it's weed eating or building a sweat or painting or doing whatever needs to happen. We will make that work until we figure out what's going on between us and face it and speak truth to each other and face that truth instead of hiding it and just perpetuating more of the falseness that was uh, shared for me in a program. So that's a really why the sisterhood is so special, is that we actually put the work into it. And I think that is so, so beautiful. What do you all think about that?
Can I say something about that, Sarita?
Please. Thanks,
What
Chris.
you touched on is what Ma tells us, Magdala tells us a lot, and that is speaking your truth. Now, it's a very hard, it came to me very slowly because I was never taught to do that. I was not, be nice, don't hurt anybody's feelings, don't express what you're feeling. And that's not the way you build really good, sound relationships. And that's why what we have, all of us women, there are far more women in this than the four of us, believe me. And we all feel the same about it. If you have an issue or something you want to express or whatever it is, we feel confident that we can say it and we don't have to hold it back because it does build resentments and you feel it whether you say it or not. So it's better to get it out in the open and we talk about it. There isn't a lot of that in our group anymore because we've done a lot of work in that area. But that's what's so beautiful about it all is that we can speak our truth as well as group truth. So to me, that's really important.
Yeah, I was gonna. Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was gonna talk about. Well, we also have the school, but we also have what we what's called a PPF. So it's another, it's like a smaller groups within the groups.
And just to let everybody know, can you tell us what PPF
Yeah.
stands for, Teddy?
So past, present, and future. And so one of the things is, so we started, you know, three of us here. I mean, but different people have started at different times. But anyway, like having so specific like exercises, and we all exercises like homework. It's kind of like homework that digs within different parts of ourselves, and then we bring it our own, and we read our own, and everybody can go over it. But this, what I was thinking about is that, you know, some of us are like, oh my gosh, well, that sounds great, but, you know, maybe I could do it for a couple weeks, maybe a month or 2 months. Well, you know, it's different. People have different, you know, links, but we've been doing it for 3 years, and we're just, you know, amazed because one of the things is that I mean, I can remember one of the first things we did in that was, what are you thinking about for 5 minutes? And, like, you don't really know what I mean, you think, "Oh, that's so easy," but it's really not. But that's just such a beginning. I mean, to see the growth that we've made, the skills that we have that we didn't know we had, you know, our like, most of our families or society or whatever, it's not it's you know, it's not really that cool to have maybe the gifts that we have or whatever. Maybe it's not because, you know, it's more about doing what are you good for? What can you do more than what do you have as a person who, you know, what are your skills? So we've learned different things about ourselves and how we can bring that forward. And it's very special. And because of our group and because of how we've learned about these things within ourselves, we do bring them out and we're like, yeah, we have them. Let's use them.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
Teddy, I'd love for us to elaborate on that because we're discovering our own medicine in this. And I think it'd be good to share specifically what skills we have uncovered. Like you just shared a skill of the ability to be able to observe your own thoughts for 5 minutes. I mean, that's a skill that we working on and refining. And so Sarah, I'm curious to hear a little bit about what your experience has been like in uncovering some of those skills that you have or finding and reaching your own medicine.
There have been so many, and I think especially as we go through, I mean, so much upheaval that we see in the outside world, we're starting to see.
Like
We're
you have
starting to see so many things.
right? That's part of
And you know, one of the things I'm going to bring out about Sarah, the Sarah, not Sarita, but the other Sarah, and we were all in because there's the land where we do ceremonies and we work and we clean the area and do sweats and have teachings. And Sarah and I were together in one of those, and it was very amazing. And just in that little in that setting, we learned, we're able to maybe not. I don't know if it was remote view, but we were able to see into each other's things
Yes,
that, you know.
yes, we were. Like, sorry about that. I had
that's okay.
kid interruption. uh, yeah, so what I was saying, like when you see all the tumultuous changes on the outside, I think it's like Sarita, maybe it was you that was talking about how understanding that really the changes occur within you, and that when you transform yourself within yourself, then that changes the outside world. And it's this sense of empowerment in situations and like not giving your power away. So instead of feeling helpless or feeling like you're a victim of life or circumstances, it's taking all of the tools that we like, all the different ways we learn to do the spiritual work in PPF. Like, one of the things that's been on my mind the most right now with so much chaos and change in the world is one of the things we're taught is using that energy, that friction to like take you up. And so I've been thinking about that a lot as there's, the really challenging times that we're in, it's like using that energy to propel yourself up and to use that, that force within you to take that energy and to move yourself. So that's just like one of the ways that, by going inward and looking inside yourself, that I've learned, that I have all the tools I need. I have all the assistance I need. I just need to tap into that within myself, and then I can make the changes I need to get through whatever it is that I'm facing.
Yeah, it sounds like, Sarah, when you say going up, it reminds me of the conversations we've been having about the higher culture and
Yes.
being in that higher culture. And I'm wondering, Christine, if you could talk a little bit about your experience of that.
Well, and the one thing too, I wanted, and I will, the connections that we have and the way we are able to connect with each other. I mean, we are connected to absolutely everything. We all realize that now, every living thing. But among a group like this, it's not uncommon for us to connect and synchronistically will text or call or whatever, and it's a beautiful thing. But it also is expanded beyond this, the nano network that we are all involved in our family, our friends, and now in particular because we are more or less isolated, it's a comfort to know that we can do that. And the higher culture is about living in a dimension that is not embedded in all of this that's going on. You can be aware of it, but you don't immerse yourself in it. You're like a step
Yeah.
back, and it keeps your calm. It keeps your trust in that you are okay, that you are an essence. You're a divine being, and you've always been that. So now we can go up and stay there. And if family members are fearful or panic, then we've got the presence of mind through the lessons we've learned to comfort them and to talk to them and say, look, bring something forward that you've learned. And that does help them go up as well. So we can all stay up. And that's very important right now, for sure.
Yeah.
I love that you're bringing that into the conversation because there's just so much love between us and the work we're doing, but we love our families and our communities and the people in our lives. And as we continue to do this work, it ripples out
Yeah.
into their communities. People will ask questions, they'll see shifts, but it's not about them, it's about us, but it's also that responsibility that we have
Mhm.
to work on ourselves so that we can create higher relationships and be in that higher culture. And for me, I really like what you said, Christine, about having awareness like, yes, things are going on. People are panicking. There is fear. And we have the tools to not get stuck in it, not to be ignorant to it, not to be naive and ignoring it, just not to get stuck in it and choose a higher way of being. Or how I also like to think of it is connecting to the sacredness of the original human being, connecting to the ability to have more than five senses, connecting to the ability to have psychic communication or to have spiritual communication, and connecting to the ability to experience ourselves and experience the world beyond the limited mindset that sometimes we can get stuck in. And it's been so helpful for me in these times of chaos or change or reset that is going on, to connect to that, those tools that I have, to not attach to the stories that are going on all around me, but to stay connected, most importantly, to myself. So I think that's been really important. And some of the work we've been doing lately is the remote viewing. And I know that many of you are really great at remote viewing. And I'm curious, just want to bring that into the conversation. And maybe one of you could define remote viewing a little bit for us.
Sarah, do you want to?
Oh my, I think it's kind of like when you talk about the original human being, the true human being, it's one of those gifts of being able to step into a different time and place and to be able to see into or to sense in all sorts of ways. So it might be images, words, sounds, and to take that, to tap into that in yourself, to then bring it forward and use it to understand, to get a bit better picture. And it's, fits in with that past, present, future of understanding that time isn't how we've been taught that it is. I don't know. Step in, others.
Well, so one of the things I was going to say is we have
Yeah.
also been, as we've become aware of the things of our skills, that we do practice. And so both Sarah and I, on one of our practice sessions with several other people, her and I had a couple things that were the same, or similar, that we knew, for whatever reason. And we might not know, like at the time, what is going on or whatever.
Right.
But it's really, especially when things aren't going, on in the way that we would normally all communicate. There's a lot of, you know, different information or whatever. But anyway, we do practice and we do get to see these things. And besides, as we practice them, and everybody has different ones. It might be that. It might be, like Sarita. She is great at telling the truth. I mean, not telling the truth, but telling it, saying it, just observing it. That's one of the things I know about her. And Christine, she has this way, this power with her voice. She has a vibration. I mean, those are just the things that I'm observing. They know within themselves their other, their medicines too. But we get to help each other and share it. But the reason it's so powerful is because of the work that we've done. Really, number one, that
Exactly.
Magdala's held us to, like to who we are, right? Like we don't get off course. It's very much. And I mean, talk about a focus. Like, we're crying right now, but you should see us when we're really in action. I mean, we bring it so much.
Kelly, and sorry, I just want to jump in real quick. It's true about bringing it and practicing. Like spiritual work is work. And I once said, and I'm just going to laugh at myself here, but I turned to Magdala one day and I said, "When do I get to graduate?" And she started laughing. And she said, "Graduate from the spiritual work." And it was just that reminder of, you know, uh, like making the extra round, making the extra effort. And that is a skill I have developed over the years, no matter how physically tired I am, no matter how many thoughts are in my head that are trying to stop me going that extra mile, so to speak. And that is so, and we're going to wrap it up here, but I just want to see, Christine, do you have anything left to add before we wrap it up?
No, I think we've covered everything. I mean, I've been so blessed by all of you and by Magdala and the lessons we've learned. And it is like, all these things we talk about, like the remote viewing and so on, we are all able to do it, but it's the practice that makes it's the muscle we've not used. So we all can get better at that. Everyone can. And I would encourage anybody that's looking to find out what their purpose is, who they truly are, to join us in this school. It's very rewarding.
I'm just realizing something that I do want to make sure that we say is a lot of the way we practice this is we are doing lessons every week with each other. We're sharing those experiences, but we also go to the land and we make ceremony and we're on the land for many, many, many days in a row, making that ceremony, connecting to the sacredness of who we are, connecting to the sisterhood working out and dissolving any disillusion or any programs that have been put there through that really deep work of ceremony. And I think that's really important for
Yeah.
people to know that these are the avenues that we use, but ultimately the only one we're trying to reach is ourselves. So we're there together in the sisterhood, but we each know no one is there to save us. No one is there to
Yeah.
save you. The only one you need to reach is yourself. And all the work comes from you. So even though we're doing it together, we all know that. And I think that's so important that we're all reaching ourselves. So we're in this together.
Yes, we are.
Well said, Sarita. I love it.
All this
Yeah.
together. I love you so much. I'm so grateful that we're in this together, and that there's even sisters we haven't met yet that I just feel so excited to
Yes, come on in.
Absolutely.
Yes.
So, Sarah,
Yeah.
do you want to wrap it up for us?
Yeah. Well, definitely. I think just like what Teddy said, is that we want to invite any sister who is interested. If you're feeling the call, if you're doing the work and you're on your spiritual path, I mean, the work that we do is, as you can hear, is like so transformative and powerful. So if you go to Magdala's website, which is magdalas.com, so that's plural, Magdalas and .com, and there's information on the school, and it's online. And we have women from all over the place, all walks of life, all cultures and backgrounds and races. And I mean, it's beautiful. And like you said, we're all on our spiritual path doing our work, but we're there for each other as well. So we encourage you to sign up if, now is the time to do it, to do this work. So and in addition to that, we are asking for support, financial support and donations, because we have a lot of sisters that are in need right now with the crisis that is going on, with a lot of impacts on people's work and their ability to work and earn income. And also, so just being able to support our sisters through this time, but also to be able to support the sisterhood in being able to work on the ceremonies and the land, like Sarita was talking about. There's so much work that we want to do, and a lot of that work is to help build the sisterhood, to help make it so that, like, one of the things is having housing, so that we would have little casitas, little houses at the land for people. So if they come to ceremony, that will be just another way for people to connect and be together. But a lot of additional work, like workshops and webinars and ceremony, all sorts of things that are happening. So your financial support goes to do this work to help with the spiritual enlightenment work that women are doing. So we would love your support. And again, check out McDonald's.com for more information, because we want to see you in our sisterhood.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you,
Thank
everybody.
you.
We love you all.
We love you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.